Hi, I'm Coach Dave. So how can I predict if I'm going to run a London Good for Age qualifying time at Milton Keynes Marathon in 4 weeks' time? I asked Gemma, my ChatGPT running coach, and here's what she said. She looked at several data points. My recent park run, where I averaged 5:32 per kilometre at 125 beats per minute average heart rate, and my recent long runs, which have a stable heart rate with minimal cardiac drift, less than 1% this week. Cardiac drift is the increase in your average heart rate for the second half of the run compared to the first half of the run. Mine was pretty much the same for nearly 3 hours this week. She estimates that my sustainable heart rate is probably around 132 beats per minute, still well below my anaerobic threshold, which is around 138 to 140 beats per minute. With that profile, my 5:32 from park run should be sustainable for 42 kilometres. She used this for her conservative estimate, which is 3:53. Her more realistic estimate, which is based on increasing my average heart rate to 132 beats per minute, is around 3:50. Her optimistic estimate, which would factor in a 2 to 4% improvement due to the taper in the last week, would be around 3:48. So she's estimating somewhere between 3:48 and 3:53. Her central case is 3:51. Another way to get a prediction is to look at the tables in Jack Daniel's book. On the 8th of March, I ran 1:49 for half marathon, which equates to a V dot of 40.8 and a 3:46 marathon. Also, there are many calculators on the internet that use a formula developed by a guy called Reigel, R-I-E-G-E-L, not quite sure how you say that. Putting my recent half marathon time into that gives 3:47. Then a research paper from 2020 took a completely different approach. Giovanni Tanda from Genoa University in Italy showed that marathon times were closely linked to the total training time and average pace for the last 8 weeks leading up to the race. I've run 614 kilometres in the last 8 weeks at an average of 6:37 per kilometre. Using Tanda's equation, my predicted time is 3:51. Finally, probably the most commonly used predictor is your Garmin watch. Garmin uses a combination of its estimate of your VO2 max and your training history to come up with an estimate. The exact mechanism doesn't seem to be public, or at least I can't find it. As I write, it's predicting 3:51 for the marathon. So all the predictions are saying I have a chance of making 3:52. Which is the Good for Age qualifying time for London Marathon. But it's going to be very close. A lot will depend on race execution, the weather and course conditions. I can't honestly say I'm feeling anything like confident about these predictions. I finished my last marathon pace workout, which was a total of 10 kilometres, wondering how on earth I was going to hold that for 4 times the distance. If you want to know how accurate these predictions turn out, check back in 4 weeks' time for my marathon debrief. Have you used a marathon predictor? Which one? How accurate was it for you? I'd love to hear your comments and thoughts below.